Hey, what's good, everybody? Welcome to Barbershop Chop. Now, I'm sure you guys have seen the articles about people quitting their jobs and things of that nature. Well, what I can say is, I think it was a message about 40% of millennials are leaving their job or whatever the case may be. I mean, that's all cool or whatnot if you have a backup plan. Not the biggest believer in relying on unemployment if you are able to work. That's just my personal opinion about it. But what I will say is, if you are able to work, try to work as much as you possibly can, even if it's not what you necessarily want to do at the time. So what I personally recommend is, minimum of 60 hours a week. Work as much as you possibly can and get as much money as you possibly can, so you can start investing in your future and things of that nature. Now, the job, or even investing in skills, and education, so you can do what you want to do later. So right now at the moment, I just saw an article, it's pretty cool. Walmart is now paying, and I'm gonna post it, I'll show a screenshot. Walmart is now paying 100% tuition for their employees. Of course, you have to join the program or whatever the case may be. And I think that's wonderful. Now, Walmart has its ups and downs, when it comes to, you have to get back and things of that nature. And that's not what this video is necessarily about. But I do think it's important that I think it'd be wonderful if some of us can take advantage of that, because due to school loans and things of that nature is very, very expensive, and we don't want that debt on our hands. So, if you do work at Walmart, I would take advantage of something like that, and I would just work as much as I possibly can to get as much money as I can, so I can invest in what I want to do as opposed to what I have to do. Now, I know that Walmart has a reputation, and I'm not going to speak on it because I never worked at Walmart, but I have worked at Sam's Club, so I'm not going to give an opinion on, oh man, it sucks working there, it sucks. That's not what this video is about. It's about taking advantage of what's out there so we can get a step ahead. Now, if you do work at Walmart, you may not necessarily like it, you may like it, who knows, or whatever, who knows. But since they're offering 100% tuition, now I don't know the stipulations or not, I'm going to have to look into that myself. If there are any stipulations, but that's something to definitely take advantage of, so you can go to school for something that you definitely want to do as opposed to have to do, because to get ahead, especially in these days, it takes money, and when you don't have any money, it's hard to do things that you enjoy. It's hard to do things that you want to do, and that's very, very challenging. So I just wanted to make this a quick video and tell you guys to take advantage of, and this is just one example, of course, right? But just work as much as you possibly can. So if work minimum of 60 hours a week where you're getting an income. So let's say that 40 hours a week, let's say the 40-hour week job pays your bills, or whatever the case may be. Let that 20-hour week job, or if you want to get two full times, that's totally fine. Now, I know that people have different situations, but they have children, they have responsibilities and things of that nature. I'm very, very aware of that. But if you can work a 40-hour week job where that position pays your bills, and the 20-hour week job, you can use that to build your side business if you want, and that's going to be a separate video, of course. You can use the 20-hour job to build up a side business. You can use that to purely invest, and or you can use that to purely do anything that you want. But as long as it's, or spending money or whatever, but as long as it's practical and you put it to use or whatnot, that's your, that's whatever you want to do with that money. But what I will say is, if you're absolutely able, let's say you're not necessarily married, you don't have any children, you don't have any major responsibilities like a sick parent or something of that nature, definitely try to work as much as you possibly can, even if it's not, physical labor. Doesn't matter what it is. So if you work at a warehouse, I would definitely suggest working overtime if you can, assuming that you can physically hold up or whatever the case may be. Let's assume you're doing physical labor like, Amazon or something of that nature. That's different. But what I will say is, if you're, whatever you can handle, just work as much as you can to where your mental health isn't compromised or whatever the case may be, because that's really important. I know about that personally. So what I will say is, work as much as you possibly can to where your mental health is not compromised or you get paid for, and allocate as much money as you can towards what you want to do. And it's funny because I was watching, I don't want to put this guy's name out there, but I was watching a video. I was watching, it was a live stream or whatnot. And one guy commented, he said, let your 9 to 5, spend your 9 to 5 money to build your 5 to 9. And that stuck with me. And I said, man, that's a wonderful comment. And it's very practical and applicable to a lot of people. So, you know, you do have a lot of, you know, due to surveys and things of that nature, I don't know the exact numbers, but many people don't exactly like what they do for a full-time living. They don't necessarily like it. You know, I would say over 50% if I remember correctly. So let's use that as a minimum. It's more than that, I believe, but let's just say minimum of 50% of people do not like what they do as a full-time living to pay their bills. Well, let's say you work a little overtime and, you know, you get a second job of something of that nature. If time permits. Like I said, if you don't have, you know, if you have children, you have other responsibilities and things of that nature, you know, I totally understand. I'm definitely understanding of that. But if at all possible, definitely invest in yourself. Invest in what you want to do, so you don't have to do what you're having to do right now for a lifetime. So definitely invest in schooling if you want to, you know, be a mechanical engineer or something of that nature. Work to build up a trade, so you can go back to school or go to a trade school or something of that nature. Use that extra income so you can stack up and pay for it in cash. You know, so you want to take out school loans if possible. Now that's the ideal situation, and I know everyone may not have that flexibility. Definitely understanding of that, and there are ways around that. If you guys want to shoot me a comment in the comment section, we can definitely discuss that. Don't go too personal or whatnot. I don't need to know all your personal business. But what I will say is, if you're able to work a 40 and a 20, or you work a job that allows like unlimited overtime, I know about that personally. I used to work at a warehouse where I used to work, you know, 60 hours a week or whatever the case may be. Then definitely take advantage of that. Use some of that income, assuming it all doesn't pay your bills, but that's going to require us to be disciplined and not spend all our money on BS like liquor and you know, drugs and all that. Whatever you like to do. You guys know what I mean by drugs. That's legal now in some states or whatever. But we just have to be disciplined to invest our money into what we want to do, because it all comes down to a decision. We can either spend our money on, you know, stuff that's going to help us get better, that we're going to progress and live a happy life, or we can continue to just work a job that we may not necessarily like, or we think is crappy, depending on where you work at. You know, and you just have to work there for a lifetime because it pays the bills, but it's not necessarily what you want to do. And that's not a happy life when you have to work minimum 8, 9, 10 hours of doing something you don't like. That's not fun, right? And that's not a life that, you know, even if you travel and stuff like that, I personally don't believe that's a good life. That's a happy life to live. You know, it's my opinion and whatnot. So I definitely want you guys to take that into consideration. Definitely, if you have the time, you know, get your 40 and a 60, or just work overtime, minimum 60, or just work overtime till you get a minimum of 60 hours. Use some of that income to allocate some of that money to work on yourself so you can build yourself, so you can put that money towards a trade or put that money towards a degree or something of that nature so you can do what you want to do. That's going to be it for this video, y'all. I appreciate y'all tuning in and whatnot, and we're going to keep going. Barbershop Chop, I'm out.